Corporate Transparency Act. What is it and how does it impact businesses? Hi, I'm Alec Osland, an attorney at Yanowitz Law Firm, where we've been helping families with wills, trusts, and probate for over 30 years. The Corporate Transparency Act is a new law that went into effect at the beginning of the year. Essentially, what it is it is a law that is requiring entities to report beneficial ownership information to the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Generally, it's called FinCEN as an acronym. These reporting requirements established under the Federal Corporate Transparency Act, they aim to bolster the integrity of the U.S. financial system by enhancing transparency within corporations. This measure targets financial crimes such as money laundering, terrorist financing, and tax evasion by providing law enforcement agencies and relevant authorities with improved insight into company ownership structure. Why does that matter? That's a lot going on, what I just talked about. But essentially, what it means is that companies or entities that are going to be subject to these requirements, they're required to submit beneficial ownership information electronically through the FinCEN, through their e-filing system. And so that system, again, is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network Beneficial Ownership Information Electronic Filing System. This is going to apply to partnerships, potentially LLCs, corporations, things like that. They are going to be required to submit information to the government regarding the beneficial ownership of their entity. And so the timelines for reporting, if a company was created before January 1st, 2024, they have until January 1st of 2025 to report. If a company was created on or after January 1st, 2024, they must report within 90 days of the creation or registration of the entity. Starting in 2025, that window shortens down to 30 days. Any updates or corrections to the ownership or to the entity have to be reported within 30 days. The beneficial ownership information report requires a lot of information. It's going to require the identification of all of the beneficial owners. And a beneficial owner is someone who controls 25% or more of the company's interest or who exercises a substantial control of the company. They're going to need all of the personal information of each person that I just talked about, which is going to be their name, date of birth, address, social security number. They're also going to need the ownership structure of the entity itself. Companies must also keep all of the information up to date and accurate. Again, they have 30 days on all changes to make sure that their information is correct. And also want to make sure that everything they're uploading and keeping the records of is secure. And this has a lot of vital information that we don't want to get out to certain places that it's not supposed to. So with that, again, it's very important that we are securing all of those records and transferring them securely so all of the information can stay protected. For the entity itself, the legal name is going to be required. They also need to list any of the trade name or doing business as name. You have to have the address of the entity, the jurisdiction, and that EIN of the company as well. With that, it's very important with this new law that all of the reporting requirements are followed, as there are pretty strict penalties with this if they are not followed. The penalties with all of this, it's very important that these requirements are followed, as fines can be up to $500 per day that is in violation of the requirement. It can be up to $10,000 or 2 years imprisonment, which is why it's very important that you're making sure you follow the requirements of this new law. This all changed at the beginning of the year when the corporate transparency went into effect. So if you own an entity, it is very important that you speak with your attorney to find out what you need to do to be in compliance with this Corporate Transparency Act, as those fines can be steep and they can add up very quickly. So again, if you have an entity, it is very important that you reach out to your attorney to find out what you need to do to make sure that you are in compliance with the Corporate Transparency Act. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out when we post a new video. And thank you for joining me today. Bye.